Good afternoon, everybody. You need some lineup. Let me center up here. You need some. Oh no, I lost you. I'll be back.
An incredible intro. You know, the intro is the hardest part of the show, and folks, Adam Azer's the best in the business for a reason.
Yeah, there's all my messy stuff in the room and everything like that. Here we go.
Oh, that was incredible.
If I move my computer even an inch, it just knocks my camera out. Good afternoon, everybody. You need some fantasy football help? Welcome to the playoffs. Welcome to Week 15. Adam Azer, Chris Towers, and Tara Roberts here. Chris and I are both repping Fantasy Football Today shirts. Yeah, here I am. I better not do that.
It's a really soft shirt.
Oh, it's
those RotoWear guys. They got good stuff.
RotoWear's awesome. Yeah. Tara, you got any RotoWear gear?
I do. I got the same one Chris has. I should have worn that.
Yeah.
No match.
Everything good, Tara? How you doing? How you been?
Oh, all good. It is Week 15. I'm excited.
Yeah,
let's get the rundown. How many playoffs are we in?
I made all but one dynasty league, but I gave up pretty quickly in that one. So yeah.
Every league but one?
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Crazy.
How many leagues is that? 2?
Wow.
Maybe
Boo. 10. No, I didn't beat it. 10, you said? About 10?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Good for you.
Got a couple first round buys.
Chris, how about you?
7 out of 14 leagues, which is pretty good. 2 first round buys, missed the playoffs by like 4 points in 2 different leagues, which is a little frustrating. I believe I needed 8.1 points from Trey McBride and Greg Dortch on Monday night. And turns out those were the wrong players to play.
Oh, that's right. I saw that tweet and I was rooting for you the whole time. And I was like, oh, where the hell is Greg Dortch?
Greg Dortch didn't even get on the field, I think.
Yeah.
Crazy. Special teams.
Yeah, that was not great. That was one where I lost Cooper Kupp and Dallas Goedert. So wasn't really going to do anything anyway.
I made the playoffs. So I think I made the playoffs in 5 leagues, but technically it was 4 out of 9 because I finished in 6th place out of a 12-team league. And the commissioner only puts 4 teams in the playoffs.
Oh, then you didn't make the playoffs.
No, I didn't make the playoffs.
There's no technicality there. You didn't make the playoffs.
To me, I made it.
No.
Get half credit.
All right, 4.5 out of 9, which is perfect. 50%. All right. Welcome, everybody. Let's get to your questions. Aaron Jones or James Conner this week?
That's a really close one. They're both top 12 running backs for me, but I do have Aaron Jones just a little bit ahead.
It is Aaron Jones for me.
Okay, man. Okay, fine. Yeah, that is really close because it's like a weird day when I'm even considering James Conner over an Aaron Jones, but he's been so good.
Conner's been really, this is what we saw at the end of last season is when he was the only running back they were using. He was really good for fantasy. It's a tough matchup. The projected score, the projected over under for them is like 16 or something. They're one of the lowest implied totals of the week. So that's where I give the edge to Aaron Jones.
All right, Matthias needs 2 receivers and a flex. He's got Ken Walker tonight, and then all those receivers, it's non-PPR.
I love Kenneth Walker, but I get a little bit uncomfortable if you don't have to do it. And
I don't love him this week.
He's got enough wide receivers there that you just go Waddle, Olave, and Godwin, and call it a day.
Yeah.
Even in non-PPR, you'd feel much better about it in PPR or half, but even in non-PPR, I think you just go away from Walker. Walker's tough. We've seen it like 4 different times this season. He's the kind of guy who can score 12 points with 1 run. And so that's what always makes it hard to go away from him. But if he doesn't break that long run, we've seen the last 5 games.
Yeah.
He's pretty iffy.
He hasn't done that in a long time. You know who else is tough? Higgins is tough because he's practicing. I don't want to start him. I really don't want to start him. Let's see. Can we pick 3 receivers ahead of him from I think we can certainly pick 2. Adams and Brown.
Yeah.
Waddle versus Higgins is tough.
I think I would go with Higgins there, assuming he's cleared, although cleared to play doesn't mean anything, clearly.
For the Bengals, yeah. Yeah, I would risk it with Higgins just because Waddle's been what he's been averaging, even in PPRs, less than 10 fantasy points a game recently over the past several weeks. So yeah. What's the difference between 7-ish and 0? Go ahead and go with T.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I've got a decision between T. Higgins, Gabe Davis, and Antonio Gibson. And I'm not sure which way to go.
No.
You think it's just Higgins?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think. You think so.
Gibson versus Higgins is probably close for me.
Yeah, Gibson has 9 carries each of his last 2 games. I mean, they really. I don't know if it's because he was banged up. He was banged up, but it seems like.
Although he's on the injury report right now, he's been limited with a foot injury the last 2 days. So
Robinson's been limited too. They're both going to play, obviously. Let's talk about weather here a little bit with that Dolphins game. Dolphins-Bills supposed to be pretty snowy on Saturday. I'm getting a little mad on the podcast because this thought that the offense is at an advantage when it's snowy because they know where they're going and the defense doesn't. It's like I'm not going to say this to anyone's face, but I feel like that is like 50 years old of thinking. It's so archaic. Weather is bad for offense. Like I keep saying, the total is going to go down if it's snowing really badly. That's where I come out. I don't like bad weather. So I'm not giving any edge to the Dolphins or Bills pass catchers if it's
I like to think it gives an edge to the home team because they're wearing white and they blend in with the snow.
No, the home teams wear colors usually.
Is that right? I know that's not something that I actually pay attention to. That's I watch a lot of sports and there are certain things that I just like. They just take up no space in my brain, and what color the home team wears is one of those things that I just like. Yeah. I should know.
Football,
right? Like that's
almost always home team wears their colors, and white team or road team wears white. Almost.
Then it's an advantage for the Dolphins.
What'd you say?
In basketball, it's the opposite.
Yeah, I think in baseball, it's the opposite too.
Baseball is the opposite for sure. Basketball, they have so many new jerseys now. They have every team.
There's only one.
and they don't even play anymore. In basketball, they got all these alternates. All right, what do you got? Hill, Driscoll, or Everett at tight end?
Well, to go back to the point, though. For one, I would go with Everett. This Jeff Driscoll being eligible at tight end on Yahoo thing is it's the most Yahoo fantasy sports thing I've ever seen. I love it. Their position eligibility rules are just non-existent. And if you've ever thought about playing a position, you're eligible there. It doesn't, there's no logic behind it. Has Jeff Driscoll ever played tight end?
Schaefer was telling me that they had him as a tight end last year, but in his career, he has 1 target in his entire career. And it was almost certainly as a quarterback.
Was it a batted pass? I would go with Everett here, but I admittedly have not given thought to the Jeff Driscoll at tight end thing because he only played 10 snaps last week?
No, he played 30.
Oh.
But he only
attempted 7 passes.
Yeah.
I don't know where he played those snaps because he probably handed off a lot. I don't know if he played 30 as a quarterback. He probably did. Handed off a lot through 6 passes.
I would be surprised. I mean, maybe that's why he's tight end eligible, and maybe I'm just talking out of my
no. I don't think he. We could probably look this up, right? All right, so here's the deal.
Very quickly.
Don't start Taysom Hill because Juwan Johnson is practicing. Gerald Everett, I think in PPR is much safer than Driscoll because he gets 5 catches almost every week. In non-PPR, I suppose you could convince me on Jeff Driscoll. I don't know, Tara, if you have any thoughts on that. My concern with Driscoll is they were winning the entire game, but if they get blown out by the Chiefs, which I expect, I don't think Driscoll's going to be on the field much.
Yeah, I prefer Everett. I like the matchup. Tennessee. Safer, just far safer.
He did play 32 snaps, lined up at quarterback on all of them. 25 rushes, 7 pass attempts. So, I don't know.
Not 25 Driscoll rushes. 25.
No. 25 Texans rush attempts. Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's more upside there. If he attempts 10 passes and runs 5 times, he probably outscores Gerald Everett. But I think Everett's probably safer.
Okay, let's do this one. DJ Moore against the Steelers or Drake London against the Saints?
I do have Drake London ranked higher. The Panthers just don't want to pass the ball if they don't have to. They haven't had to. I don't think they'll have to against Pittsburgh. And I'm hesitantly excited to see what Desmond Ridder means for Drake London. Hopefully he's a more competent passer than Marcus Mariota. I think they're still going to be very run heavy, but I think there's a chance Drake London has a really good finish to the season.
DJ Moore for me. I don't disagree that the passing upside is very limited because they do want to run the ball, but I don't know. I'm just a little uncomfortable with not knowing exactly what we're going to see out of Ridder.
Elijah Moore or Jalen Waddle?
Jalen Waddle.
Yes, we're not at that point yet. Waddle.
Brian Robinson, Dobbins, Kirk, Olave.
Dobbins over Robinson, and Kirk versus Olave is very close. I would go with Olave.
I prefer Olave and Dobbins.
I need 2 receivers and a flex here. We got Kirk, Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, Chris Godwin, and J.K. Dobbins. And we are going to get Romeo Doubs this week. I don't know if that means anything for you guys in terms of Christian Watson, but we have not really seen him with Doubs, lately during this stretch. So Kirk, Garrett Wilson, Watson, Godwin, Dobbins, we need 3 of them.
Kirk, Godwin, and Wilson would be the 3.
Yes. I'm not worried about Watson that much, but I don't want to pivot away from Godwin, even in a tough matchup.
I'm worried about Watson in the same way I'd be worried about Watson if Dobbs didn't play, which is that I think he's probably Gabe Davis. And,
yeah,
it's the kind of thing where, like, it's like with Mike Evans right now, where you can throw a coin 6 times in a row and end up with heads 6 times. It doesn't mean the next one's more likely to be heads or tails. It's still, I think Watson's role makes him kind of a coin flip. He's big play dependent. He doesn't get a lot of volume. It's very similar to Gabe Davis. It's very similar to Mike Evans. And what we've seen is when things are going well for those guys, they're amazing. They're incredible fantasy players that can help you win a week. But downfield targets are lower probability propositions. You can't always count on the 40-yard rushing touchdown like Christian Watson got last week or 2 weeks ago. So it's a boomer bust profile. He's a wide receiver 3 for me. I don't think Dobbs changes that, but it creates a little bit of uncertainty in an uncertain profile.
All right, let's pick 3 to start of this group in half PPR. Dobbins, Thielen, Juju, Peoples-Jones. So 2 of them I think are pretty easy, right? Dobbins and Juju.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Thielen is going up against a team that is number 1 against wide receivers, and they've basically had one game where they allowed a number 2 receiver to do anything, and that was last week or 2 weeks ago. Michael Gallup had like 25 yards and 2 touchdowns, so terrible matchup for him, but not a good one for Peoples-Jones either. I'm going to lean Peoples-Jones here.
Yep, I'm going with Peoples-Jones. I'm realizing, looking at my rankings, I just published, I had Thielen ranked higher. That doesn't work. I don't like it, so I'm moving Peoples-Jones ahead.
I'm going with Thielen just because I think this is going to be a big boom Amari Cooper game, provided he plays. Now, if he didn't, something goes wrong and he doesn't play, yeah.
It just report just now that he's going to play. So. All right, Amari Cooper at home. Full PPR, I need a flex. Rashad White, Josh Palmer, Elijah Moore.
I think Rashad White easily here.
Rashad.
Yeah, almost all of Josh Palmer's production last week came with Mike Williams off the field. So if Williams increases his snap share, which I suspect he will, that could be pretty bad news for Josh Palmer. I want to take a quick break here to vote in the poll. Do you prefer a real or fake Christmas tree? So real, fake, and neither are the options. Boy, that is really tough.
It's not tough at all. I mean, look, maybe this is my thing. It's always been a real tree for me. Like, if I have to do a fake tree, that's fine. I can live with it. But like, and I get the arguments against it that like you got pine needles everywhere and it's a pain to get in and out of the house. And but it's Christmas, like you live with it for a couple of weeks because it's delightful to have a tree and all that stuff. So I go with the real tree if I can. I had to like rent a zip car to go get a tree because there's no places near my new apartment that sell trees that I could find. So That's my commitment to the real tree life.
Nice.
Tara, what's your
it's real tree for me. I've got a fake tree right now in the house. but I grew that was not my choice. But I grew up with real trees. Like we would go out, like, saw down a tree, cook it up and everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. As you get older, it's like an experience you don't want, but it's like, okay, like it's tradition.
Yeah, we would go to the old Home Depot and
Yeah, I think we're gonna go to the firehouse. They sell trees near us, and we can support the firehouse. But I don't know. I really can't stand that whole process of getting it in the house and all that. And all right, I'll vote real. I think you're right. It's worth the sacrifice. Oh, wow. Real 45%, fake 45%.
That's surprising.
Man, very surprising.
Wow, a bunch of Scrooges.
Schaefer is admiring his handiwork over there.
Well, with fake ones, you can get the giant trees. It's kind of hard to get a real giant tree and go and bring it into the house.
Yeah, that's true. Given the worsening weather, would you stream Younghoe Koo over Tyler Bass?
That's fine. Like kickers seem like they would be more impacted by snow. You got to move the snow out of the way and stuff. So yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah, and I think you could just realistically have teams just elect to go for it more often than kick field goals if the weather is bad. So you could do that. Would you drop Lamar Jackson and play Field or Dak? And then Metcalf or Godwin, PPR?
I have Fields ranked higher, and I would have him ranked higher if Lamar Jackson was cleared to play. I would prefer not to drop Jackson, but obviously carrying 3 quarterbacks is less than ideal, and I'm not sure you'd start Lamar Jackson next week. So I think I would it's always tough because you don't want to go against Lamar Jackson next week, right? Like that would be the biggest obstacle. Who do they play? The Falcons. Oof, that could be really good for him.
Yeah.
I think you probably want to hang on to him.
Yeah, like you could play Fields, drop Dak if you want, to do it to a point where nobody can pick him up for this week, because I'm pretty sure Dak has the Eagles next week.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Lamar's been pretty bad for a while, or pretty disappointing. So I think I'm okay dropping him. And, coming off the knee injury, I'm not sure what he's going to be when he comes back.
And he may not play next week.
Right.
It was a 1 to 3 week.
I'd probably drop Lamar and start Fields.
Yeah.
And if worse comes to worse and he doesn't play and something happens with Justin Fields, I mean, Dak's production, just because they've been running the ball so aggressively, really hasn't been anything that you just can't probably pick up on waivers if you're able to drop Dak. So
that's true.
I think that's fine.
That's true. Dak, Fields does scare me this week, though. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Just, man, the Eagles are just so good. They're going to just crush the Bears, I think. So I don't love Fields. I might start. I'm going to say to start Fields over Dak, but I think Dak is definitely safer. It's certainly more upside with Fields, but I think more downside as well.
I'm still in on Fields this week.
Yeah, the rushing has been so consistently good for so long that I can't go away from Fields.
Metcalf is an easy one for me. I don't know how you guys feel. PPR.
I would go with Godwin in full PPR over Metcalf.
You love him. You love Godwin.
I would. No, I would go with Metcalf.
Yeah, look, I think Metcalf's earned it at this point. It's like 71 yards or more in 5 straight games or something, and scoring a bunch of touchdowns, and much tougher matchup. So if you want to go Godwin, I understand. Okay, let's see. ETN, Bam Knight, or Chris Olave?
I think I have ETN ahead of Bam Knight. I do. And I have Olave ahead of both.
See, ETN's the one I'm concerned about. It's Olave for me.
I should apologize. Metcalf does not have a tougher matchup than Godwin. It's pretty, I would say it's unclear. Both fairly tough matchups, but in terms of just fantasy points allowed, the Bengals are like 4th against wide receivers, and the Niners are something like 20th. So I might have been wrong about that. I think we all have somewhat of a bad feeling about the Seahawks tonight. Josh Allen or Deshaun Watson? Oh, see, I told everybody that there was going to be some Josh Allen questions this week.
So, but I get it. I wrote about this a little bit, and he hasn't been great lately, but he hasn't been benchable. He's still been over 20 points.
Yeah.
Like, has he gone under 20 points? He's once in his last 7 games, he's been under 20 points. So, like, I don't think there's much reason to consider sitting him. He doesn't have the upside that he once did just because he's not throwing the ball as much. But if Miami can keep it close, and keep it competitive, hopefully this turns into a shootout. I don't think there's any way you're sitting Josh Allen. He's my QB 3.
Behind who? Hurts and Mahomes?
Hurts and Mahomes, yeah.
Tara, agree?
Agree. I'm still playing him.
Yeah. Like, it'd be one thing if Geno Smith had an easy matchup, if Tua was playing better right now and had an easy matchup.
If Trevor Lawrence had a good matchup.
Yeah, if Justin Fields had a good matchup.
Yeah,
then
like
that's really ask. But it's not a great quarterback week, so you're going to start Josh Allen. But I knew because of the weather and the way he's been playing, I know there are going to be some Josh Allen questions. And our answer
he has destroyed the Dolphins.
Yeah, he has.
That is the numbers against Miami in his career are ridiculous. And
not this year, right? Not in week 3.
It was one game they had 400 yards on 63.
He was good. That was Tua's.
He wasn't super efficient.
He threw 63 times. Wow.
But he runs all over Miami too. It's like, I think that's his best opponent in terms of rushing production too.
Pittman or Zay Jones? Pittman.
I'm going with Zay Jones, I believe.
I love Zay Jones.
Not a huge Pittman guy, but this week against the Vikings, I think should be pretty good.
No, I've got Pittman one spot higher, yeah.
Damn!
It's finally a juicy matchup.
Jacob Glazer is getting angry at Alexander Madison taking up room on my bench. He's like the guy on the couch from Half Baked.
I identify with you on this one, Jacob. I never draft Alexander Madison. In this year, one league, I did it. And how is it going to be the 1 year where he has no opportunity to fill it? This is Dalvin Cook's one healthy year.
You never know.
I'm so mad because you can't drop. You're like, well, I can't drop him.
I know.
What are the odds?
I know. It's crazy.
32.8 points per game for Josh Allen against the Dolphins in his career.
Wow. Tara, Everett, or Komet? I would start Tara. Is that like a typo, or is it asking Tara?
No, it's because is this the person that remembered I was a Cole Kmet truther? I love it if it is. Let's go Cole Kmet though. No Darnell Mooney. The top option. Claypool is obviously not producing. So
he didn't practice yesterday either.
Yeah, I got to check the practice report today, but Claypool's hurt too.
Kmet. I've got Kmet ranked a spot higher than Everett. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
I kind of want to start Kmet over Brock Purdy at Superflex in a league, but I'm not going to do that. I'll go with Purdy. Zonovan Knight or Ken Walker?
Ken Walker. Wait.
Ken Walker.
Zonovan Knight.
Oh, I'm going Knight. Yeah, I have really no interest in Walker. I don't know if that's crazy, but
he's a low end RB2 for me. It's a tough spot, but he's a hard player to get away from. You have to have really good options. But I do think Zonovan Knight is a pretty good option. I just wish he had gotten more of a passing game role last week. That was the frustrating thing. Michael Carter was back, and it was mostly Carter in the passing game. So, Knight needs to keep being efficient, but that's not that hard against Detroit. So I think he's a pretty good match, pretty good start.
Okay. Stevenson, Walker, and ETN. Which two do I play?
Well, I think you just start Walker tonight, and then you start Stevenson if he's active ahead of ETN. Yeah, but right now, ETN, did he practice today?
ETN, I don't know.
Stevenson.
I have not seen today on Stevenson.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they've practiced yet.
New England.
He didn't practice yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, look, I really don't want to start Walker, but
I think you have to here.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Dallas Goedert this week? Would you start over any streamers over him in half PPR? I would start Goddard.
No,
probably.
I would go with Goddard.
What about Dulcich, Njoku, and Ingram are interesting, and they're previous week streamers. They probably weren't available this week, but they're pretty interesting. Njoku's been very good, and Ingram's obviously coming off an amazing game.
And Goddard is my tight end 4.
Oh, okay.
But we don't know if he's going to play yet. We're still waiting for Goddard.
I gotcha.
That's some highbrow humor for you.
So this is what I was just talking about. So would you guys start Goddard over Njoku and Ingram?
Yes, I would.
Njoku's the only one that I would kind of, I might be okay with that.
In the league where I made the playoffs but didn't because only 4 teams get in, I do have all 3 of those tight ends.
Oh, good. Good.
I would have, I would have started Goddard. Higgins or Pittman, full PPR.
Higgins.
Pittman.
No. Lamar Jackson has been ruled out. No surprise. Oh, hello, Shannon. Swift, Higgins, Palmer, Cook, McKinnon, Burks, Paris, DPJ. We need a running back, a receiver, and a flex in full PPR. Ooh, you could pick up Sutton. Not picking up Sutton, but you could pick up Gabe Davis. First of all, I would drop Josh Palmer for Gabe Davis.
I think I would start Davis over Palmer this week, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't start either necessarily, but maybe. But
Higgins, Swift, and I think I would go with Donovan Peoples-Jones over McKinnon.
The Ravens.
Yeah.
I think I would go with Traylon Burks if he plays.
Yeah. Traylon Burks is the one that interests me.
If he doesn't,
he has not practiced this week, right?
As of Wednesday now.
Yeah, I wouldn't think he's going to play.
That's a while. Wait, he didn't get hurt last week. No, he got hurt 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So there's a chance. But...
All right. So the way so Swift and Higgins, right?
Yes.
I would go Burks if he plays, Gabe Davis if Burks doesn't play. Chris said Peoples-Jones. Tara, who's your third?
It's Burks if he plays.
Okay.
Yeah. Start
1 in PPR. Hunter Henry, Daniel Bellinger, Taysom Hill.
Hunter Henry. I don't like to say that, but Hunter Henry.
I would go with Bellinger if he plays. And I assume he will. He was limited yesterday with the rib injury.
He says he's going to play.
Yep. I
trust him. He's a good guy.
He wouldn't lie to us.
Ayuk or Kirk in full PPR?
Kirk.
I have big Trayvon Diggs concerns with Kirk. I'm still going to say Kirk, but I get it. I get the concerns. All right. I want to check in on the poll here. Let's see how we're doing. Christmas trees. Oh, so real, fake, or neither? Fake has pulled ahead with 46% of the vote.
Unbelievable.
Real has 44%.
That's unbelievable. I mean, look, yeah, I get it. It's a pain in the ass, but like, okay, you have to sweep every couple of days. It's not that big of a deal.
I have to
and I guess the fire hazard
on
part of it.
balcony and drop the tree onto the grass next to my driveway just to not to crack it all throughout the house, which is a very nervous moment every year.
The thing with fake trees too is that you have to store them. Like you have to find storage for them.
I live in a tiny New York apartment. I don't got space for a fake Christmas tree here.
Unless you have a huge house, with an attic and stuff, but who has that nowadays?
Well, can't you disassemble them and they're not they don't take up a lot of space.
You still have to store it.
Those things are big.
I don't have
it's like blocks. You just put them in a box,
I got a very small apartment. I don't have a lot of storage space. All right. It's like Tetris under my bed trying to fit everything in there. So, I don't got that kind of room.
Wow. Someone here is allergic to pine.
Trees. Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, that's a good I agree. Fournette or Dobbins?
I have Fournette one spot ahead.
Fournette.
T. Higgins or DJ Chark, Elijah Moore or any other free agents?
Higgins.
Yeah, Higgins.
I did have a cool DJ Chark. Let me see if I have that note here. The Jets. Oh, they have not allowed a touchdown of 20 plus air yards since week 6. They're one of 5 teams in the NFL that has not allowed a touchdown of 20 plus air yards, since in that span. And that's not good for DJ Chark.
On a similar stat that I looked up this week, I believe Tom Brady does not have a touchdown of more than 15 air yards since week 2.
Oh my God. Yikes.
Well, he's had a couple that should have been.
Well, he's had, I
such
saw,
bad luck.
I can't remember who tweeted it, but someone had the most fantasy points negated by penalties, and it was Mike Evans number 1, Tom Brady number 2.
Oh wow, that's
they've both had like 40 points negated by offensive penalties.
Wow, that's a big deal for Evans, especially. My gosh.
Yeah, that's part of why I just I haven't really gone away from Evans. I know it hasn't worked out for like 8 straight weeks, but it just they've been so close. It feels like every time we talk about them, it's like, yeah, but if it wasn't for the holding penalty, or if it wasn't for this or that, it's like the margin for error on these downfield receivers is really slim. And so
yeah,
but
he wasn't. That's the difference between him this year and last year. Is this year it's all the downfield stuff.
Yes,
last year it was the end zone stuff, and he's just not getting that.
Yeah.
Who we starting in a standard scoring league? 2 of these guys, including Mike Evans.
Although last week Tom Brady had one of the worst throws I've ever seen him make on a Mike Evans end zone target.
What was that?
Why. It was like at his feet. It was awful.
What was that? That was like retire material. Who we starting out of this group?
Evans and Swift for me.
Oh,
with Evans and Watson.
Yeah, me too.
Touchdown king.
What are you expecting from Swift?
10 to 12 touches, hoping for a big play, hoping for a touchdown.
Okay.
Whereas with Watson, it's 3 to 4 touches, hoping for a big play.
Swift? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going Foreman and Watson.
No, I'm going Evans and Swift.
Oh, no. Yeah, I prefer Foreman.
Okay, it's non-PPR, so Foreman. Okay. Christian Watson, start of the week, Isaiah Pacheco, or bam, night, PPR.
I believe I was on him in night ranked highest of these 3.
Full PPR, Christian Watson for me, even though he's not catching a lot of passes.
Actually, no, I do have Watson ahead of night. Yeah,
I'm going to go Pacheco. So I don't really see a huge difference between Pacheco and Knight, except the matchup is so much better for Pacheco.
I think Knight has an offense that would throw him the ball more readily if the game script allowed for it. So I think there's more upside in that regard. I think like Pacheco, it's a touchdown or it's 7 points, right? And yeah, he might get a touchdown.
He had 3 catches last week. He had 2 the week before. So I'm hoping for 2, which might be what Knight gets you.
It might. I mean, that was what he got last
100-yard
week.
game, though.
100.
I could. They're just. Yeah. I don't expect. Even if they're up by 30, I don't really think we're going to see like a ground and pound game from the Chiefs. That's just not who they are. They're consistently going to be, one of the lowest pass or run rate teams in the league every week. Especially if you do like run rate over expectation, they're always like 20% lower than you would expect. So
let me give you this then. They've played 5 games where they won by 10 or more points. Here are their running back carries. 23, 32, 16, 17, 26. So it's a little all over the place. It's 3 games with 23 or more running back carries.
But that's all running backs, right?
Yeah.
So he gets what, 60, 70% of their running back carries probably?
I think he'll get 17 carries.
Yeah. But you give him 5 yards per carry, you start doing the math, and it's like, well, there's 75 yards, so 7.5 points. Let's give him 2 catches for 15 yards. And it's like, you still need that touchdown to feel good about him.
Yeah.
Or he breaks a big play. It's always possible he breaks a big play, but he's very much like a touchdown or bust RB2/3 for me. I think he's in the same range as J.K. Dobbins, who's not going to get used in the passing game. I think similar to Ezekiel Elliott, except I think Ezekiel Elliott's in an offense that clearly prioritizes running backs, especially near the goal line. So that's the issue for me with Pacheco. It's just I don't love the profile. He's RB23 for me. I don't hate him, but he needs that touchdown basically.
Yeah. Okay. Eagles DST or Chiefs DST?
I'd go with the Eagles. Well, I guess who do they play next week? is kind of the way I would look at it.
Yeah.
Eagles play the Cowboys. Chiefs play the Seahawks. You'd probably rather have
both. You might have both, but you probably do have both on your team. It's not; these teams are not free agents.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is like, are you going to drop one?
No, just start one.
Damn.
Chiefs.
I'd
probably start the Chiefs. Yeah.
All right. Great options here. Let's get 2 running backs out of this group in non-PPR. Swift, Latavius, Jeff Wilson, Rex Burkhead.
Wilson, I'm not expecting to play.
Swift and Murray for me.
Yeah, Swift and Murray.
Yeah.
Murray has a great matchup for what it's worth. What did I say? Something like a running back has scored like 17 PPR points in 7 of the last 8 games against Arizona. It's something crazy like that. Let me see. Yeah, 7. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, Jeff Wilson did not practice today, by the way.
They've been much better than Latavius Murray in terms of the running backs, but like Pierre Strong did it last week. Okay. Sutton, Deontay Johnson, AJ Dillon, James Cook, Devin Singletary. We need just one. I don't think Sutton's going to play.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it.
And I ain't starting him if he does. Although in this group,
I'd go with Deontay, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Deontay did not practice today.
Yeah, he didn't practice, but he played through the hip injury last week, so hopefully it'll be the same. The one that was interesting for the Steelers was Najee Harris was added to the injury report yesterday. Didn't practice with a hip, but the hip and the oblique are very close to one another, and he had missed time over the past couple of weeks with an oblique and played through it. So I don't know if that's just a classification thing or if it's a new injury. That was something I was watching.
Okay. Well, I don't want to start him anyway, so
the hip bone's connected to the oblique bone.
All right, we did that one. Sorry. Hopkins or
Hopkins.
Where's my music? Hopkins. Yeah, Hopkins should be fine. He's at 71, 91, and 98 yards in 3 games with Colt McCoy this year.
Yeah, no concerns for him.
A little off on the numbers, but that's basically what it's been.
I have concerns about that offense. I have concerns about Marquise Brown, but not DeAndre Hopkins.
All right, so I got into it a little bit with Jamie and Heath on today's show about this Geno versus Mike White. I was pretty adamant that I would go Geno Smith. I recognize there's downside because the Niners, they're going to get after him, and he had a terrible game against the Niners in week 2. But my thought is I'm very confident they're not going to be able to run the ball tonight, the Seahawks, and they're going to throw. And even though last week he didn't play very well, he threw some interceptions. He scored like 23 or more points in 6 straight games, something like that. If you look at tough matchups he had this year, 21 points against Denver, 23 points against the Giants, and they were kind of tough. 29 points at the Rams, 23 points at the at the Buccaneers. It was just the Niners. He was terrible against the Niners, no doubt. I can't trust Mike White with my fantasy playoffs on the line.
Like, how much worse do we think the Lions defense is than the Vikings pass defense? It's worse statistically, 20.4 points per game versus 24.
It's about the same.
Mike White had 57 pass attempts against the Vikings 2 weeks ago. 369 yards. Okay, that's cool. 6.5 yards per attempt, but whatever, volume. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Like, I think the problem with Mike White is that he's not good. Like, I know he's like this fun folk hero, and like we love like, oh, haha, Zach Wilson sucks and all that, but like Mike White's not a good quarterback, right? So like
he's just very conservative. He throws very short all the time, and if his receivers aren't breaking big plays, he's not throwing downfield to Metcalf and Lockett. That's the difference to me. So
yeah, like I just think Geno Smith's a much better player, and I don't know, matchups matter, but like I feel like we get too bogged down sometimes in matchups, and like the players still matter.
Yeah,
the players, the offenses, the coaching, like all that stuff matters. Matchups, that's too reactive for me. Like I think it's fine to start Mike White. He's an okay streamer. He's my QB 15 this week, but I just think it comes down to Geno Smith's a much better player, and I'd rather roll with him with the weapons that he has, even against a bad matchup.
Also, I mean, yeah, obviously Detroit is the worst pass defense between the two, but they're not a horrific pass defense. So I don't know if it's the layup that it might be. So I still like Geno.
I mean, I have to start Mike White in the league, so I'm not anti Mike White this week, but I just think Geno deserves the respect the way he's played this year.
Yeah.
Cam Akers, Dallas Goedert, Traylon Burks, Rex Burkhead, Michael Gallup. Half PPR.
Oof. I mean, I would like to do Burks, but if not, then Goddard. That's tough, man. I guess you're deciding between two injury guys right there.
Yeah, I think I would go with Goddard. Burks, it's interesting because like that's still projecting, right? Like we're hoping that the flashes that we've seen of late, but even the most recent game, obviously he got hurt, but it was the one catch, and I feel more comfortable with Goddard's role in that offense, assuming he's okay, and then I just saw a quote that he is trending toward playing, I think was what he said. Yeah, trending in the right direction for him to return Sunday.
And Akers has a terrific matchup. The Packers' run defense has been dreadful. Burkhead I wouldn't go for, and Gallup I wouldn't, but definitely I could see a path to a good game from Burkhead. It's going to be, does he catch like 4 or 5 passes basically, which is possible. You don't have the worst options here, even though you don't have one that's great. Chargers give up a lot of big plays, and I think they'll put up some points. So I think you'll get enough, hopefully 30 pass attempts from Tannehill. Just need Burks to get in that stinking lineup. PPR flex and a tight end.
Stevenson, if he plays, that's the easy call.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Williams for sure if he doesn't play.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
And then I would start Goddard over Andrews.
I'm going with Andrews.
I'm still rolling with Andrews.
Okay. Kittle or Njoku?
I do have Njoku 2 spots higher.
Njoku.
Ken Walker or Jerick McKinnon?
Ken Walker.
Yeah, I would rather take the risk with Ken Walker.
Looks like Drew is wearing a Giants shirt, so I will bring up that Brian Dable said there are no limitations for Saquon Barkley, and Barkley says he feels much better this week. You can consider.
Yeah, I mean, that was like the quotes after the game where like, yeah, I felt fine. It wasn't because of the injury. It was because of the score. And like, that makes me feel a little better, I guess, except that like Giants could get blown out every week. That wouldn't surprise me. So like, it doesn't make me feel that great.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get blown out, but
no, they could.
They could, yeah. I don't really like what I'm seeing from him. I don't know what's going on. He just hasn't been nearly as good lately.
Just a bad offense.
It's a terrible offense.
Like it's just he's being asked to do so much, like create so much on his own. They're not throwing him as much as they were early on in the season. Yeah, it's been frustrating. It's been frustrating from a guy who looked like he might be in the number 1 pick discussion next season.
Yeah, I don't know when he's going to get drafted next year.
I don't know if there's going to be a running back taken in like the top 3 next year. It's going to be a really interesting discussion.
I agree with that. Well,
like 20 because you're picking the best options are going to be like 28 and 29-year-old running backs.
Yeah. I think
Eckler's 29.
I know, but he's not really a running back. He's so different. I'd have to look at like Matt Forte and how he aged basically, but yeah, I think you might be right.
No, he's younger. I mean, he's not young, but he's not knocking on.
I thought he turned 29 next year. I thought maybe I'm wrong.
He's 28
next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, he's still young.
All right, who you sitting
29 is old, 28 is young.
Who you guys sitting? Well, I'm sitting Walker. If I have a fairly decent option behind Higgins in case Higgins doesn't play.
I feel like he's going to play, so I would sit Walker.
I think that's probably right.
Zay Jones, Christian Watson, DPJ, or DJ Chark. Oh, full PPR.
Watson.
Just one?
Yeah.
I have Zay Jones 1 spot ahead of Christian Watson.
Okay, yeah, that's why it's a real struggle. I would go also Watson, but yeah, they're so close.
It's just a classic volume versus big play potential there.
Yeah. Goddard or Freiermuth?
Goddard. Freiermuth's been pretty meh lately. Like 3 catches in each of his last 3 games.
He's playing hurt too.
Yeah.
St. Brown or you got to go St. Brown.
St. Brown, yeah.
Equinemius St. Brown or Christian Watson?
Christian Watson.
Christian Watson.
I still don't know who Christian Watkins is, but That is a combination of Sammy Watkins and Christian Watson.
I would not start a combination of Sammy Watkins and Christian Watson.
Oh,
Jared Goff, Deshaun Watson, or Tom Brady?
I have Tom Brady ranked highest of this group.
It is Watson for me.
I hate it. I don't like it.
Tara, I heard you go, about the Packers. Have you seen our FFT mascot?
No, I haven't.
Schaefer, can we get the mascot? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Damn it. You got to see Schaefer's dog. It's the cutest thing. You've never seen a cuter dog. It's like, makes me want to get a freaking dog. Oh, man.
I have a cute dog.
Where's your dog?
Stevie.
Wow. Right
Stevie, come here.
I'd love to have a contest right now, but apparently. Okay.
He's hidden by my name.
That's a very cute dog. Schaefer's got a Pomeranian. It looks like a little squeak toy. So
he's
cute.
I woke him from a nap and he's very confused. Okay, go to your bed. You're fine.
Rachaad White or Christian Watson, full PPR?
Rachaad White.
Go with Rachaad
I'm
White,
fine with the safety of him.
What do we got here? 3 non-PPR flexes. Walker, Kirk, Lazard, blah, 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 blah.
This is one where I'm definitely starting Walker and Kirk. Slayton versus Lazard is pretty close.
Yeah, I'm going to go Slayton.
I think I would as well.
I still lean Lazard.
I think Latavius Murray is also a decent option there if you want to go that route.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But also could be dreadful because he's Latavius Murray. Lazard, this is a stat that you wish you had more faith in it, but over the last 4 games since Christian Watson emerged, Lazard has 1 red zone target and 1 end zone target, and Watson has 5 of each. So it has been a complete flip, because that's why I liked Lazard so much earlier in the year.
Yeah.
He was reliable. He was that guy for Aaron Rodgers. Now it is completely Christian Watson. You don't know if that will go back at any point, but I thought that was interesting. It's like what's happened with Tampa Bay. It's Godwin now and not Evans. Rachaad White, Mike Evans, Ken Walker, PPR.
Rachaad White.
Yeah.
Heavy snow forecasted for Saturday. Should I sit Waddle for London?
No.
I think it's I don't think sitting Waddle's unreasonable, but I would go with Waddle.
So Brandon Cooks practiced today, and bring it. Make fun of me. I will sit if Cooks and Collins are out, and hopefully you'll know by Saturday. I will sit Gabe Davis and start Chris Moore only in full PPR, and I will be the only person in America who does it. And whatever.
Oh, I don't think you're the only player. I've seen some fantasy analysts talking about dropping Gabe Davis this week, just because if you're in the playoffs and you're at a point where you don't think you'll start someone, it's not unreasonable to drop them. And you don't feel good about starting Gabe Davis at this point, but no. I want to say there's more upside with Davis, but we just saw Chris Moore get a 10-catch game. I just don't think that's repeatable.
But there's more upside with Davis, I think, on a weekly basis. And the Jeff Driscoll thing is what scares me on Chris Moore. If he's going to be on the field for 30 snaps and throw 6 passes or 7 passes, that's a problem. But I don't think he's going to play as much, Driscoll. So I like Moore as a number 3 guy. And in non or half, I'll take Gabe Davis. In full, I'll take Chris Moore. That's me. What do you guys think?
I've got them 4 spots apart in my rankings. I do have Davis higher, so it's not unreasonable.
I will take Moore if Cooks doesn't play. I think it's repeatable. I think what he did, catch rate, I don't know. That's maybe the only thing that concerns, but I think the targets will be there just because the targets were there for Nico Collins before without Brandon Cooks and with him as well. So
it's got to be both Cooks and Collins out, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I would risk it with Cooks in there.
Yeah. And it looks like Collins is not going to play, and Cooks surprisingly practiced today.
Yeah.
Fields or Geno, 40-yard bonus. 40. So, but rushing and passing, 40-yard bonuses. So, is that touchdowns or completions or carry? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Chris, I think you're muted.
I would go with Fields either way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I prefer Fields.
Let's start 2 here. Walker, Foreman, Gibson, Latavius, full PPR.
So Walker and Foreman.
What'd you say, Walker and Foreman?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be Walker and Gibson for me.
I'm going to go Foreman and yeah, I think Gibson's okay there.
No Latavius Murray for sure. So
I think I really would start. I'm leaning Latavius over Walker. Like I really think Walker's going to be dreadful. I don't know how healthy he is, and he's facing the best run defense in football, and he hasn't been running the ball well, and they don't really throw to him. So it's not a lot going on there.
They did increase it, so that's been a second since we. Well, I don't know. I don't know what he.
All right, I'm going to go Foreman and Gibson. Okay.
I'm going with Walker and Gibson.
And Tara? Walker and Foreman? All right. So nobody got 3 votes in that group, unfortunately. Schultz or Njoku?
Njoku.
I'll take Schultz. Do you guys think the Jaguars are going to put up points against the Cowboys?
This is really, I wrote about this a little bit with Trevor Lawrence. It's really hard to like analyze the way he's playing right now because it's not like there hasn't been some game plan adjustment. He's not running more. Like his level of play lately is just because he's playing incredibly well. Yeah. And that's always hard because it could just be this is what he is now. This could just be Trevor Lawrence is just an elite quarterback, and like that's well within the realm of possibility. But it all comes down to that, right? It doesn't seem like there's a scheme adjustment that we can point to or some change in the way he's playing. He's just playing outside of his mind right now. And if he continues to play like this, he's going to put up points against anyone. The way he's played the last 3 games, he's going to put up points against any defense in the NFL. It's just, I'm a little iffy on it. I would expect the Cowboys to win pretty easily, but I expected them to win very easily last week.
Right. Yeah, and they have a great defense. They really do. So it'll be a challenge. But I think they'll do well enough, and that's why I'm going to go with Schultz. So I think he'll get, something like 8 targets. We got a first-time caller here. Keith Adams. DK Metcalf or DeAndre Hopkins?
Can we verify that? I don't want to answer his question if he's not really a first-time.
I believe him. He looks so trustworthy. I mean, come on. Look how friendly they look.
I would go with Hopkins ahead of Metcalf.
Yeah, I don't know that Hopkins. I don't know that Hopkins is the guy you should be asking about. Like to me, it's Metcalf. Or
I have
Allen. I don't know.
I have Metcalf ranked lowest of this group. They're all top 15 wide receivers for me, so I like them all. But it's Metcalf just behind Keenan Allen.
I will take Metcalf or Allen in non or half PPR.
Yeah, that's fair.
Allen in full PPR, and you can sit.
I would take Allen.
You take Allen all across the board?
Yeah.
Okay. ETN or Dobbins, Christian Kirk or McLaurin? And then flex one of them.
Dobbins and McLaurin. And then flex.
I'm going to sit
Kirk.
ETN. Yeah, me too.
I'm going to sit Dobbins.
Okay. DK Metcalf, Ken Walker, Amari Cooper, David Montgomery.
I'm sitting Kenneth Walker.
Oh, sit one. Kenneth Walker.
So Don, I believe it was Don this morning who said that, totally inaccurate, said that Jamie looks like someone who would yell at the Starbucks barista for screwing up his order. But like, no way. Jamie would never yell.
I don't think so.
No way.
I don't think so either.
And then Don updated it to Jamie would drink 2 raw eggs every morning instead of coffee.
I feel like if anyone on the show was going to do that, it would be Heath.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think Heath is the most likely to go like a Liver King diet.
I don't know what that is, but yeah.
You don't know Liver King?
No.
Oh man, Adam.
I don't either.
Sarah doesn't either.
Just search for Liver King.
Liver King diet. Okay. Let's see how gross this is.
It's just like I don't know how you missed this controversy. Liver
King
no. Is like this big bulked out guy
that.
who's been like viral on TikTok, and he says that he's all jacked because he eats a raw food diet. Turns out he's on like crazy amounts of steroids. Who could have seen it coming?
He eats raw food. Oh wow. Ugh.
Yeah, Heath's a health. I could see Heath like downing two raw eggs in the morning. I could see that.
Yeah,
not the rest of it, not steroids.
Yeah. Everyone voted Dan as the most likely to yell at a barista. I don't get that vibe at all. But
I mean, he's like, he's a New Yorker. I could see it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm walking here.
Pick two of these guys: Waddle, Evans, and Watson.
I would sit Watson, but him and Waddle is very close.
I'd sit Evans.
Yeah, I think I would sit Evans.
Waddle or Olave?
Olave.
I regret to inform you that as time has gone on, fake Christmas tree has widened the gap at 49%.
This is stunning. Legitimately stunning.
It is, man. I guess everyone's got a mansion where they can store their fake Christmas tree.
Yes.
All right, no Gus Edwards talk. Guess I should put. So he's a fun sleeper. I don't recommend starting him, but he did get 13 carries last week, and he's facing a terrible run defense. I don't recommend starting him. You're getting 0 catches. That's almost a guarantee.
Yeah.
So you need a touchdown.
Him and Dobbins are both. It's like 13 to 15 carries, and you just hope for a touchdown from both of them.
Yeah.
I don't think there's that big of a difference between the two of them. Dobbins is probably more explosive, but I think they're very similar players.
Burrow or Fields?
I have Fields ranked higher. Don't feel great about it.
Fields, but I don't mind Burrow.
Yeah, I mean, if Higgins and Boyd play, then it's easy. But I'm going to go Burrow. I'm going to go Burrow either way. McLaurin, Watson, Pacheco, full PPR. I think it's got to be McLaurin.
Yeah.
Heath laid it out on today's show. McLaurin just destroys the Giants. Great history. Let's pick two here. Sounds like you guys are pretty high on Olave. Olave, Pittman, Godwin, Judy. Ooh, that's tough. Half PPR.
Godwin and Olave for me.
Same. Judy complicates things.
Yeah.
Arizona's weirdly really good against wide receivers, though.
They are.
I don't understand it. I don't know how.
They may not have Byron Murphy. They haven't had him for like 3 weeks. But yeah, they are. It is weird. They always do well against number ones for 2 years in a row, and it makes no sense. Yeah, I agree on Olave and Godwin, but I also feel very confident that I'm not going to get it right. But I am going to say Olave and Godwin.
Yeah, I mean, wide receiver production's hard to predict on a weekly basis anyway. These guys are all, for the most part, in the same range. I think for me, Godwin's ahead of the rest of them, but Olave, Pittman, and Judy are all within like 10 spots. So yeah, that's hard. Who gets a touchdown? A
few more here. I need a flex and a wide receiver. Alec Pierce, McKinnon, Corey Davis, DJ Chark, Chris Moore, Cortland Sutton.
Chark? And I think I would go Moore. If Nico Collins and Brandon Cooks are out, I would go with Moore and Shark. If not, I would go with McKinnon and Shark.
Yeah, more for me for the same logical reason. I'm mildly concerned about Shark. Some McKinnon. Alec Pierce is interesting, though. I think that's an interesting sleeper this week.
Yeah, my God, the Vikings, such a good matchup. Last one here. If Ramondre Stevenson's out, do I play Rashad White or Damian Harris?
Rashad White.
Yeah, I would definitely go Rashad White over Pierce strong. But Harris as the starter would be very interesting. I think I would go Harris.
I think Harris would be a top 20 running back for me if he's cleared and Stevenson is out.
Is Rashad White not a top 20 running back for you?
He is 21.
Okay. So next time Thomas really would like to see the dog next time. So just,
I would like to see the baby.
I brought him up here for a second, and then somebody was at the door, and he was just going nuts, so I couldn't.
All right, guys. Thanks for. Well, let's see him. Oh, that's a very cute
family.
little cat. Oh, there's 2 cats back there. Wow.
Aw.
Yeah, 2 little cats. They got their little heating pads because it's cold,
So which one of those cats is the home team?
The gray one, obviously.
Yeah. All right, folks. Good luck tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Make sure you check out Fantasy Football Today in 5, recapping Seahawks 49ers after the game. Starter sit for the NFC home games tomorrow on the podcast. Thanks to Tara and Chris. I'm Adam, and we have a live stream 11:30 a.m. Eastern on Sunday. We're going to do it on Saturday next week, Christmas Eve, for all the games that weekend. But yeah, see you later. Good luck.